In every city on the planet today, there is a familiar scene, a small or mid sized business that looks too small to hack until ordinary weeknight. Invoices stop sending, systems freeze, and quiet ransom note appears asking for more money than annual profit. No breaking news headlines, no global outcry, just salaries at risk, supply chain disruption, founders in panic, and years of reputation on the edge. This is the new front line of cyber warfare, a small and mid-sized businesses. While boardrooms obsess over Fortune 500 attackers have quietly shifted strategy by fighting the fortress when you can walk through the side door. For SMB leaders, technology, cybersecurity, strategy, and growth no longer separate conversations. They are the survival playbook. How you can protect identity, data, digital trust, decide whether your company scales silently or disappears. Before we dive in, let's play a small short film about power of knowing. Our guest today lives exactly at the intersection of technology, cyberspace, strategy, and growth. Dr. Shekhar Pawar is a founder and CEO of Secure Claw Inc. USA and Secure Claw IT and Cybersecurity India, a doctorate in cybersecurity from SSMB Switzerland, and a practitioner who turned CISO, VAPT, SSA, SAST, and the real SMB defense strategies into scale model for protecting business across the geographies. He has worked with leaders who don't have full-time CISOs, don't have full-time unlimited budgets, but have customers, regulations, attacks closing in. His work sits on the heart of our four pillars: technology, cybersecurity, strategy, and growth. Dr. Shekhar, let's welcome Dr. Shekhar Pawar to the podcast and let's begin the conversation.
Thank you,
Sir, good
Prem,
evening.
for the
Good evening.
good
How are you,
evening.
sir?
I'm good. Thank you for the invitation.
Sir, thank you for being here, part of our podcast. And you've been here, I think this is the seventh podcast that you are doing in the 316th podcast that we have done. Thank you for being a continuous support for us. Sir, let's dive into the topic. Uh, why have SMBs quietly become the next big target for cyber attacks worldwide? And what are hackers really optimizing for when they can choose smaller business over the large enterprises?
As I did doctorate in related topic from SSBM Geneva, Switzerland, so I got opportunity to do in research survey and research interviews among top management of small and medium enterprises. And according 40% of cyber attack, 40% of small and medium businesses already undergone cyber attack. Uh, Again, 43% of industry targeted attacks are happening on small and medium businesses because those are very low hanging fruits for the hackers. They don't have a lot of cybersecurity controls implemented. These companies are very much vulnerable for era. Many organizations, top management are not investing cybersecurity implementation standards, or they feel it is an extra burden, budget required for implementation of the cybersecurity. So these are the few areas where cyber attackers feel like they can easily attack them enterprise, and they can breach the supply chain of the big organizations.
I got you. So what you are saying is they feel it is easy to attack the small and medium segment is what you are saying. From your vantage point, what specific gaps in SMB technology, process and governance makes the disproportionately vulnerable compared to larger organizations?
As I told you, there are already budget constraint. Organizations are not actually recruiting any consultant uh, for existing standards or implementing more cybersecurity tools. Again, they don't have proper roles and responsibilities allocated. Who will do what in the operations, in the security point of view? Thirdly, they don't have patch management properly. Like you must be aware, like every month Microsoft is pushing new security patches, and again there are many different vendors who are actually pushing patches regularly. But because small and medium enterprises or small and medium businesses (SMBs) are not having adequate controls or as a process to implement those kind of patches regularly, they are always going to have vulnerability. Again, there are many process gaps, like they don't have how to respond incidents. They don't have proper cybersecurity awareness trainings for their employee to identify whether they are undergoing any phishing attack, whether they are undergoing any risk, are there ecosystem which they are forming with along with the vendors, is it having proper structure and proper security in place? So there are many such gaps, and that gaps, those gaps and absence of the compliance and regular audits is really difficult scenario for small and medium businesses. I'm not able to hear you.
Sorry, sir, I was in mute.
Yeah, yeah.
If you can explain to an SMB founder in 30 seconds why they are the target, what would you say, sir? Because today the business owners want quick answers to or quick solutions also.
Hackers target your organization because you are easier to breach as compared to bigger organizations where they are allocating good budget, they are protecting their financial or sensitive data by investing into strong defense mechanism, and that is the basic entry point. And even in in case of cybersecurity awareness training, small and medium businesses are lagging a lot. So roles and responsibilities are properly defined. So those are few areas, and human layers are always vulnerable for any cyber attack. So that is what I would say in 30 seconds.
Okay. So you are saying they should concentrate on the cyber attacks, which can be from anywhere, and it can be a challenge that you cannot know them at the start of it. That's what I think you are saying. Now, what are the top five controls you insist for an SMB even before they start talking about tools and vendors?
Sorry, can you repeat? What are?
Now, sir, what are the top five controls you insist for an SMB
Okay.
even before they start talking about tools and the vendors?
First control, look, there we can't actually say specific five controls because there are multiple areas like people, process, and technology which organizations should be taking care of to cyber secure themselves. But the strong access management, like I have seen many of the organizations are having full access for the machines, for the areas where you are storing sensitive data or you have mission critical assets of the organization. So those controls should be there. Secondly, timely patching and updates, security updates should be done for the machines. Again, backup means you should have backup mechanism, and that backup should be taken outside the network of the organization so as it can be restored, and it should be stored encrypted format. So because suppose for unseen event like a ransomware attack, you can actually easily restore that backup and you can secure your information. Secondly, there should be like fourth point, I would say there should be cybersecurity awareness training at least once in a 6 month. That should be a good frequency for small and medium business. And to avoid human errors, if organizations are deploying any tools like SaaS tool or any ERP kind of applications, then though they should ask whether those are cyber secured, where these vendors applications are going to store data, how much vulnerability assessment, penetration testing, or source code analysis, security reviews are done for these applications. Because you are not only taking those applications in your house or your company, you are actually giving them access, extra sensitive information you are sharing with that application. And if that application itself is a vulnerable, then you will be facing a lot of challenges in compliance, and even you will get penalties. So it is very important to have a complete supply chain around you as a cyber secure environment. So these are 5 pointers, I would say.
Sir, in a world where limited budgets, how can SMB leaders design smart cybersecurity strategies that protects what matters most without trying to copy paste the enterprise security programs?
I would recommend, like I have invented BDSLCCI framework, and it is available as bdslcci.in for India and bdslci.com for international, where we have given minimum cybersecurity controls required for any small and medium business, small and medium enterprise, or MSME, micro, small and medium enterprise. Uh, in a very ascending order, like what control they should implement first, what control they should be implement next day, and what should be the target of a week, and like that. So it is it is like ascending order of the controls which we are recommending to the small and medium enterprise. Again, this framework is changing its control structure depending on your business domain. So if you are a manufacturing company, it will give you different 30 to 40 controls. If you are a pharma company, it will give you different 30 to 40 controls. If you are e-commerce or IT, it will give you different set of controls. So that should be and many of the organizations are able to complete this control implementation within 2 months. So you are talking about 90 days, but I would say within 1 or 2 months, if they dedicatedly work on limited time weekly basis for implementing what we are telling them through BDSLCCI, so that is possible to achieve a good cybersecurity structure for the organization, along with the process documents, guidelines which we are providing through our platform at very cheaper price. Uh, Generally, there should be preparedness for uh, incident handling that every organization should have. Again, there should be identification of the assets, which assets they want to consider as a critical for their business, and how those should be protected. And multi-factor authentication for critical accounts, backup, as we already discussed, backup and restore process. So these kind of few areas organizations should take care at initial phase. So that is what I would like to say.
If an SMB had budgets for three smart moves in the next 90 days, what should they do first and why?
First, they need to identify. Many organizations I have done audit, they don't even know how many laptops, how many desktop they have, because those are very small and medium business, 10 people team or 100 people team. So it is very mismanaged structure in the IT department. Generally, one person in IT is having, or someone who is knowledgeable in IT is actually their IT in charge or IT head, and he is not aware how many laptops they have, how many Windows, how many MacBooks they have. So they don't have much asset management. So first thing is identifying how many people are having which kind of access for that particular assets. Like suppose IT admin should have some more rights for installation of the particular software in the machine, or CN, suppose there is a computer numeric control machine at the shop floor. So which person is having access to load the program? Which person is having access to load the program through USB drive? So everything should be structured way. So access management is second thing. Third thing is like they should be aware like what should be done if they found any malicious activity. So business continuity plan and incident response plan should be ready. So these are the three smart moves I guess every organization should have: identifying the asset, how to give access to that asset, and thirdly, if there is something wrong in that asset, how to take care of that before it will converted into incident, or how to handle that incident if it for any unseen event.
So now coming to how should SMB boards and founders think about economics of cyber breach, because that's more important today because we see a lot of breaches happening beyond just ransom amount or immediate IT recovery bill. What is your take on that, sir?
Generally organizations should understand like it is not only ransomware attack or some kind of malware which can damage their reputation or damage their systems. It is their responsibility to protect their customer. Suppose a particular small and medium business is serving a big bank, or say big organization or big multinational organization in Europe or United States. If they are they have a lot of trust bonding, and suppose their data or their source code or some sensitive document which this small and medium business is handling uh, within the boundary of the country or outside boundary of the country, but that document or that asset or that intellectual property of the organization where they are working, it should be protected by them. So they should have cyber security in place, otherwise they will face lot of challenges. If suppose the document got leaked, and it has happened in many organizations where the big organizations filed case against small and medium business who actually was responsible for protecting that information. They are signing NDAs, but they are not aware like what are clauses written in that NDA, non-disclosure agreement, and they should protect the information and confidentiality of the organizations where they are serving for particular service. Secondly, they can actually face like penalties from the government if there are data breaches of the personally identified information, PII data. Like in India now we have DPDP Act in place. In Europe, if suppose you have European customer, if the European person's data got leaked because of your organization is not fulfilling cybersecurity criteria, you can get penalized according to GDPR Act. In California, United States, there is a California Privacy Act. There are multiple Singaporean Privacy Act. There are many multiple privacy acts based on which organizations you are working, which kind of data you are handling. You need to be aware, and those penalties are very high. That can even shut down your business. So these are few things apart from reputational damage, customer trust. These kind of things, or organization founders and board members should be
Now,
taken care.
you spoke about a point where they should be taking care of the assets that are configured, few number of laptops, and they don't have a proper asset inventory also. Is there a possibility that we can, or can you break down the hidden costs like downtime, loss of customer, regulatory penalties, legal and mental trolls on founders and teams? Because when something happens, that's the primary focus that happens for the organization. Your take on it, sir?
Look, as I explained you few areas like where they can organization
Hmm.
can face penalties. I have seen few directors who undergone particular ransomware attack, and they were so much depressed, or they were in so much uh, uh, psychological suppression, like they were not able to identify come that, because they were not able to sleep until they were able to find root cause and resolve it, and customer was unhappy with them. So there is lot of psychological trauma which organization goes after going undergoing any cyber attack. Okay, it's not easy psychologically to handle these kind of things. Secondly, they will lose confidence in their team. Okay, they can and there is no such much cost as you compare with the cybersecurity implementation, like the BDSLCI kind of framework. You can easily implement investing a very less amount of money as compared to the losses which you can project if there is any incident. And there are many intangible impacts as well as tangible impacts which organizations should be aware while doing business. Now everyone is moving in digitally, and it is lot much attack surface available for the hackers or cyber criminals. Earlier days, many organizations were not digitally equipped, so they were not exposed to cyber criminals so much. But nowadays, it is very easy to identify firewall IPs, and to check if those are not properly configured, and then a hacker can easily enter in the organization directly, or through the phishing attack they can send email to the HR department or accounts, and once the lady from that department just clicks on it, one machine get infected, and then it spreads till the shop floor. So I have seen such incidents, and it is very pathetic for uh, founders or the top management team if there is such kind of loss in the business, and even for their personal life they will face lot of psychological trauma. So these are few hidden costs which organizations should be aware.
Sir, you said there is a trauma that happens. Have you ever seen a case where a relative small breach created an outsized business impact or nearly killed that company? Have you seen such scenarios?
Yeah, I have seen such companies. I should not disclose any name, but there are few companies. If you look at the static, I will talk about global statistic. If you look at global statistic, after undergoing cyber attack, successful data breach in small and medium business, down the time of 6 months, around 50 to 60% organizations shut down their business because they undergone such kind of psychological trauma. The top management is suffering a lot. Again, they are getting penalized by the organizations which they are working, generally in Europe and many places where GDPR kind of compliance is there, and they literally shut down their business after by the down time of 6 months. I have seen such statistics available online. Secondly, I have seen few cases like where organizations are telling, like small and medium business owners or top management are telling their client, we have everything in our organization, we have completed all the compliance, but in reality they are not actually doing that at ground level, and they are just showing the fake identity of the cyber secure organization. But after undergoing cyber attack, and that data got breached, data got leaked, and organizations with whom they are working, they actually penalize them, they pull them into court, and they face lot of challenges to overcome that, because penalties are so high that the organizations like small and medium businesses are not able to sustain. So these kind of things are happening in reality. You can see many research papers about that. I also wrote about it.
Great, sir. So, what you are saying is leaders finally see cybersecurity as a business continuity and a valuation story, not a line item, right? So that's what we are talking about, and these metrics and cases standards draw relative comparison. How many hours of downtime versus cost, recovery time versus customer churn, and impact on deal negotiation. So everything gets into a place
Very
where
true.
the reputation of the organization gets into the gets into account, right? So, and that's
Correct.
where I think people are looking at now. How do virtual CISO model realistically bridge the gaps between SMB constraints and enterprise grade security leadership, sir?
Look, the chief information security officer is a primary role in any organization to implement cybersecurity posture and to maintain it. And such leaders are very expensive for small and medium business. So there is an alternative like virtual CISO means
Hmm.
one CISO kind of role can be outsourced and organizations can actually rely on that. Even we are also providing that kind of service to many of our customers in United States and other countries, where there is a senior person who is having hands-on experience and ground reality. He is aware what is happening in the market, what kind of cyber attacks are happening, and they are able to create cybersecurity framework within the organization by implementing policies, guidelines, and even helping organization to adopt few controls, technical controls, administrative controls in the organization to safeguard the assets and the purpose of the organization, objective of the organization, their customers. And they also timely give inputs to the organization top management, where they are lagging, and they are also part of internal audits, internal cybersecurity audits like VAPT, SAST kind of assignments. And again, they are sometimes they are again taking views from the external auditors, performing their task as VAPT, external VAPT, and all. And they try to identify how much exposure they have in to the cyber criminals if they are not protecting their organization. So they are able to prioritize risk, they are able to give strategy in the cybersecurity, and they can actually help organization down the time. They are able to equip organization to be a very comprehensive cybersecurity organization. So that is what virtual CISO model is very helpful for the small and medium enterprise, and it again reduces the cost because they are going for virtual CISO. And sometimes virtual CISO service is also having few kind of team roles, like it is not only one person who is senior person working with that organization. There are few other auditors and other compliance people team as a virtual CISO role is given to the organization. So that is very important service right nowadays, where organizations are not able to invest in cybersecurity team, but they can invest in virtual CISO service where they will be billed monthly or quarterly.
Sir, you brought up a very important point of a virtual CISO, right? So today, and you also made a pointer where you said the cost of a CTO or CIO or C-suite leadership is huge for SMBs, right? So now, looking at that costs, what does a good vCISO engagement look like across 6 to 12 months for an SMB in terms of governance, reporting, and cultural change?
CISO's first priority will be to identify what are the gaps in the organization. Is organization already having processes? If they have processes, are those documented? Are those people dependent operations, or those are process dependent operations happening in the organization? So they will identify gaps first. They will some kind of framework, like they can probably go for BDSL kind of framework, they can go for ISO 27001, there is NIST standard. So they can check which is more suitable according to organizations business and what kind of customers they are going to face. And again, they will have some kind of roles and responsibilities within the organization. They will try to bring awareness about the cybersecurity by running few programs for the employees, and they will try to give responsibilities and accountability for the organization. So these are few areas where they can stabilize environment to adopt cybersecurity within 6 to 12 months. It is an ongoing process because virtual CISOs are generally not full-time engaged. They are having like 45 hours, 90 hours kind of role in a month. So they are periodically working, and with the time, organization becomes more uh, more cyber secure and more matured in the cybersecurity.
You were talking about you provide services, right? Like invite. So, uh, how secure class structures a VCISO risk assessment or roadmap or policy stack, reporting cadence, and security this one. What is your way of talking about a CISO service that you are providing for?
Yeah. So I will give you one example. One organization is having say 20 employees in and they are working for developing SaaS product for the finance in United States, and they took our service. Earlier there was no policy document, nothing within the customers. Once they deployed their project in the market, they organizations who were their customer were not only asking whether this particular SaaS product has undergone cybersecurity audits. They are also asking whether this organization, as you are an organization, as an entity, are you cyber secure? Because we are sharing our data, our intellectual property information with your team, your organization. So you should have cybersecurity controls in a place. So they took virtual CISO service from us. And from the day one, we created all the policies, starting from what should be the password policy for the organization, what should be the access level control, what are different assets you have, how to protect them. So starting from that, and how operation team should have approvals to perform particular activity, how change request should be handled, how incidents should be handled, how BCP can be prepared for the organization. And again, we not only did that, we also help them to recruit few tools which organization can actually have in place for longer run. Then again, this is like administrative work which we have done, administrative controls. Apart from that, we have worked on technical controls, safeguards, where implementation of particular say endpoint protection, how which endpoint protection will be more suitable for the organization, which and backup and restore processes can be implemented, automation how we can perform with the time. So all those stuff we have configured. Parallel to that, quarterly we are actually prioritizing which areas should undergo cybersecurity audit. So there are high importance assets, like high risk assets. There are risk asset, and there are low risk asset. So we categorize their websites or mobile applications, ERP endpoints into these three categories. The high risk assets are undergoing cyber security audit once in a quarter. The medium say risk assets are undergoing cyber security audit twice in a year, and the low risk assets, which are only internal tools within the team, are undergoing cybersecurity audit once in a year. So that is how we have divided the task, and it is helping organization to identify new vulnerabilities, because it is ongoing development of the applications. And every month, as you can see, there are many patches for different assets like Windows and many tools. So are those patches are going to be in place on time? So all those things are covered in this. So that is how I explained you about virtual CISO. And down the time of now 2 years and 3 years, the organization is very much confident, and they are even their client did audit of this organization, and they are very happy. Like organization is above the expectation as compared to their size.
Sir, you are talking about having a CISO service. Now, is there a possibility that we have a wrong hire, right? And we get into services where the CISO is not able to. What is the wrong reason to hire a vCISO when, and what's the right one, sir? I just wanted to see how you have a good CISO and if you get a wrong thing done. So, how do you look at that? Over to you,
So
sir.
look, today suppose I am a virtual CISO for any organization. Okay, so my photograph on their website, or just to show their client, like, look, Dr. Shekhar Pawar is our virtual CISO, or he is our CISO, is also creating a good impression in the market. But at reality, have you recruited Dr. Shekhar Pawar? Have he spent lot of time in your organization to structure your cybersecurity? Ha, are your organization having security controls? Is he really recruited by you? So all those things matter. So many organizations nowadays, they want few people to show on their website and to attract client, like we have security person in our team. That is not going to work. So that is very bad scenarios I have seen in the market. uh, we are very ethical in those practices. We always tell customer like these are the things you need to do, and with this you can show us as a virtual CISO of your organization, because our reputation, our ethical practices, good market presence, and those should, we can't tolerate with that. So these are few bad things which are also happening in virtual CISO. I guess I answered your question.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I think what you're saying is we should provide the SMBs a checklist where when you see SMBs ready for a VC, so how do you evaluate the providers? What is the demand in terms of KPIs? How you can treat the check boxes where you ask the clients to fill up with no executive time commitment, right? So how do you look at see as a governance partner of the boards and the founder, we should not look at as a vendor, because you are part of that organization and you start working towards protecting their assets and their security posture, right? So a VCSO isn't something like a cyber security band-aid. It's your rented security brain and the backbone that you are providing for them, right? So that's where I think you are looking at building or a builder lens from a policy to a daily practice part, right? Where you say this is what you are going to do as a process, because you're, as you rightly said, the CISOs, VCISOs role is limited and they are not a full-time employee. Now, coming to one of the points that I want to understand is once the slide decks and policies are done, right? So, how do you translate cyber security into a daily behavior for SMB teams who are already stressed? Because SMBs have very limited people, right? So they come sometimes try to have or have more hats. They would be doing one, and they also have a security practice pointer than that.
Correct.
How do you look at that, sir?
So in BDSLCCI, we say we have ARC-SIK matrix where there are different roles and responsibilities. Like few roles are supportive, few roles are knowledgeable. Like you rightly said, it is not a big organization. It is a small organization. Probably only 5 people, 8 people teams are also working, and not everyone is from IT, or they are not very techno savvy to understand cybersecurity or to do certain operations. But few people are knowledgeable and they proactively volunteer in small organizations to implement cybersecurity. So we having documentation of what are do's and don'ts in the organization is different thing, and having actual implementation at the ground level is different thing. So we train them. We have our trainings. We train them based on each document, and we tell them like these are the things which you need to implement. There are few people, like 1 or 2 people, we should always prepare them to have some kind of supportive role while there are few operations, important operations for the organization. If they are not capable enough, then they should outsource it to the vendors. But translating from the cybersecurity into daily behavior within the organization is very important. It is, there is no excuse for that. We generally, when we are giving them policy documents from our BDSLCCI framework, once the company registers with the portal, they are able to see, able to download document templates. There are very less pointers, like each policy document is having only 5 to 10 points, and we ask the person who is actually going to support IT structure, or who is knowledgeable within the organization, or he is having some kind of role given for cybersecurity. So that person can undergo those 5 points in each policy document, one policy document each day. And if he is having any doubts, we clarify that. and that is how he is able to manage how those policies should be implemented. Then based on the evidences we do audit, and we have checkpoints. Like suppose I will ask you, what is your passport, I need to see. If you show me passport, it means you already have your Aadhaar card or your photo ID proofs ready. Means because of that you got passport. So we have few checkpoints. By checking that, we are able to see whether that organization is having particular area of implementation. So we have those checkpoints checked, and if we found any gap, we try to again correct that part of the organization cybersecurity where they are lagging behind. So that is how we are actually translating cybersecurity policies at the ground level operations.
Sir,
I
I
hope I
see. So, as we are talking about translating that to the SMB teams, I see a important code that is there behind. Security is incomplete without you. So, I think that's a very important point that we should look at when we talk about security, right? So, your
Yeah.
quote
So when I'm
on your
giving
background.
them, when I'm giving them first time, I'm giving them presentation.
Okay.
This slide is there.
Okay, okay. So very important point, because without the internal teams, that is you. There is security is incomplete without that you. That's a very important point. Now, coming to next point, what are the most effective techniques for uh, tuning a non-technical staff into the first line defense instead of link? Because we talk humans are the weak link in the chain, right? So that's where we talk. And if that guy is not technical, then we emphasize that is the weak link, right? So your take on it, sir.
Correct. So, as you rightly said, weakest link is always human layer, and without dealing with human layer, many cyber attacks are not successful. And most of these people are not aware of what they are clicking, what they are listening, or what kind of softwares they are installing. So, our in BDSL there are three levels: level one, level two, level three. In level one itself, we focus on human security, where we actually in our portal also there are recorded sessions of the cybersecurity awareness which are created at very low level language for easy to understand. Even someone is only done his schooling, not even went to high school, he is able to understand what this training is about and how computer works. It starts from different types of computer till phishing attack and then few advanced things. So that video based trainings we have created, keeping in mind like there can be few non-technical staff in the organization and how those should be trained. Secondly, we also, when we are visiting any organization for implementation of cybersecurity control, we try to interact with, starting from the security guard till the top management CEO, and we try to evaluate how cybersecurity awareness is spread within the organization. Many a times, the CEOs are having lot of accesses, and they are actually bypassing the firewall of the organization because IT head is giving them full access because they are their directors, and that is also weakest point. And sometimes the security guard is not able to differentiate between laptop and pen drive and other tools. So when if he's checking the bags of the employees, he need to understand what are the different technological assets and one hacker or insider can bring in the organization. So they should be aware of that. So there are always checks, and we also try to few organizations even going for behavioral uh, tools, like few analysis are done by the tools where AI can tell you the behavior analysis of particular employee. So that kind of advancement is also there, but it is no a little expensive, not suitable for small and medium business. But small and medium businesses are prone, means they are very prone to the human cybersecurity threats, cyber threats, and they can easily, hackers can easily make anyone victim within a team. Like accountant can receive an invoice where the accountant clicked on it in the email box, and virus entered in the organization, or HR department received a resume where she clicked on it and virus entered in the organization. So it can happen. So how to avoid that? What kind of rights, permissions that machine should have? Even suppose she click on particular document, if it is having malicious exe file, it should not get deployed or executed in that machine. So there should be low permission. So BDS also a kind of framework which we have designed, taking into consideration small and medium businesses, where such small things are taken into consideration. Those are the entry points for the organization, and those should be secured.
Are saying an audit is required for every pointer that we give, and the roles and accesses are to be looked at, right? So I think every quarter or something there should be an audit of who's having what kind of roles. Are those roles really needed? Because as you rightly said, people at the senior level would have all the access, but is that required? Should
Another
be.
thing I would like to add, I have visited many organizations, and I have seen, if the organization is not IT domain, if it is a manufacturing, many organizations are having their offer letter where non-disclosure agreement is not there. NDA clauses are not there. So I have seen that kind of gap also. So there is no deterrent control on the employees. Employees are not, suppose there is a manufacturing organization, employees are actually taking all the design documents of the product, and they are joining the competitor company, and they are implementing it. So these are the small things which are also taken care in BDSLCA framework.
Great, sir. Now, if I have to start the teams to look at having a habit that is to be fixed, if I had to fix one everyday habit in an SMB tomorrow morning, do you have anything that what it would be?
So never trust any digital email or
Okay.
any suspicious link. So that is first thing I always tell.
Okay. So first be aware what you're clicking on and what is
Correct.
that you are receiving. That's the first thing. And what kind of an access that you have with that, what could be the challenge that you can face or put the organization into is what you are saying. So coming
Correct.
to our next point that I want to understand is uh, as an SMB adopts cloud apps and these SaaS tools at high speed, how critical is identity access management with the new perimeter for them, sir?
It is very important to understand, like nowadays we are moving into AI ML kind of environments. Even quantum computer will be so much dominating in coming years. And but we are still lagging in terms of traditional firewalls. We are still using traditional firewalls and traditional operating systems, which are not as per the requirement of the involvement of AI, ML, and quantum. So there is a big gap in the market where the tools which we are using, like cloud application or SaaS kind of tools, even those tools should be matching with the security requirement. Suppose you are giving particular SaaS environment some special access for your in your organization because your team is working with that, and if the SaaS tool itself got hacked, so what is the plan? What is the plan B? How to overcome that and how to avoid that, first thing. So there is always going to be a battleground, who gets in and what they can do in your organization or in your product. So like you rightly said, the identity and access management IAM is very important for cloud and SaaS adoption, because without that, uh, your product will fail, because it can be accessed from anywhere, right? It is not only access internal, on the intranet of your organization. It is outside, or outside your organization also, employees or any malicious actor can access it. So identity and access management is must for such products, and multi-factor authentication should be there.
Sir, one last question that I would like before we try to summarize on Now, you made an important point in terms of IAM. What specific IAM mistakes do you often see in SMBs? That's the point. And shared accounts, orphaned users, weak third-party access controls. Any
Uh,
pointers there?
yeah. So I have seen during my audits within the my client organizations, I have seen when person leaves the organization, still he is having or he or she is having access to that particular SaaS environment. So that is one of the weakest. So offboarding and onboarding process, like in BDSLCCA also we have processes given to the organization where offboarding and onboarding should be strengthened, and so that is very important. Another thing, sometimes there are few hard coded accesses given in the particular product or services. So those can appear as a backdoor in latter phase. So it is very important. So these areas, I guess, should be taken care.
Sir, with this, I want to summarize on what we spoke over the last 50 minutes because we are running on type and we have few comments also which are coming in, right? So I'll bring them up as well. So the first pointer that I see is SMBs are not invisible. They are now the prime targets because they sit in an intersection of weak controls and critical supply chain access, right? And if you look at cybersecurity is about prioritization, not perfection, because you cannot become perfect in cybersecurity implementation. Tomorrow something will change and you have a new thing that you will have to protect. A focused set of controls led by governance, behavioral to be a part, and beats expensive and scattered tooling. Because now, as you were saying, even the tool sets are scattered. You don't have one tool set which has everything to be looked at. Now security is a growth engine is what we are talking about, and strong cyber security posture helps SMBs to deal with and keep customers enter more demanding markets, right? So and then we spoke about the VCSO part, how when organizations cannot afford a full-time CISO or CTO, they look at VCSO and VCTO services like what we've been doing. I've been a VCSO for quite some time, and you are saying that you are doing some of the VCSO services. So that's where we come in and we look at some pointers where you have a minimal expense coming on, but you still look at security being implemented. So that's a advisory service kind of a thing that we are looking at. VCSOs, IAM, AI where strategies give SMBs and enterprises a great thinking at SMB scale budget. So those budgets can be looked at. Now, preparedness defines survivability. Incident playbooks, culture, ecosystems decide how SMBs can bounce back from a breach where which never reopened, right? So that's what I would like to say as a summary, because as we heard today, the real cyber war is no longer fought only at the data centers of the global giants. It's happening quietly inside the small factories, healthcare clinics, logistic firms, SAS platforms, and some of the family businesses that power our economies. If you lead an SMB and is there a momentum, you can turn cybersecurity into a from a fear driven expense into a confidence building growth. I think that's what we spoke about over last 50 minutes, and I would like to bring up 2 3 comments that have come, sir. So one is that this is the comment which has come. Somendranath says, excellent initiative, cyber security for SMBs are very great. Happy to join and collaborate. That's what he is saying. I think, Shekhar sir, if you would like
Yeah.
to have
Thank you, Samendra.
a talk with them and see how we can help to look at how these services can be looked at, that would be ideal, is what I think. And uh, some of the users said there was a noise echo that has come, so I think that is rectified and there is no issue that, okay. So thanks for saying that there is some issue that is there. We will look at it. And sir, any final words that you want to say before we close the session for today, sir?
Yeah, I always say the organization should have cyber security, and it is right of the organization, regardless of its size. Can you just mute yourself? Yeah, yes, there is a noise actually roaming. Yeah, now it's okay. So organization should it is right of any organization, regardless of its size, its location, its employee strength, revenue, or any structure or any business domain, to be cyber secure. So it is right of every organization, and I'm working in that direction since last 4 or 5 years, focusing on small and medium enterprises only, uh, and I'm trying to like interact with many officers of the government of different nations also, and I'm trying to promote like there should be very reasonable cybersecurity framework as I have implemented as a BDSLCA framework. So I invite all the small and medium enterprise top management to explore BDSLCA framework. It is very reasonable cost which we are offering it, along with the certification transcript and total analytical report which we are delivering. So to know more, you can visit bdslcci.com if you are outside India, or bdslcci.in if you are inside in the India. So it is very helpful, and many organizations already benefited out of it. And you can see the testimonies from the business owners in our website. Thank you.
Pointer which has come just now. So I see there's one user who said thank you for the insightful and impactful session. Your articulation why SMB is increasingly targeted across identity, email, endpoints, cloud, and network access, third-party risk backups, monitoring, and governance was
Yeah.
both the time. So that's one pointer that he has put. Thank you for that. And yes, sir, you were
Yeah.
saying something.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Another thing is you can read my research.
Mhm.
There are around 10 research papers. There is book of BDSL like this, and there are few white papers, few articles, and we are now working on, as every year we have practice at Secure Law. We study and summarize the cyber attacks of the year. So right now our team is working on summarizing 3,500 cyber attacks news of this year. So that report will be published soon internationally. So you can check those reports. You can see uh, hundreds of new malwares, ransomware attacks are coming in picture every year. Means earlier I was aware of there are 1,300 ransomware gangs, known gangs, but now there are few new gangs also. So it is not going to stop. So you should not stop cyber securing your organization. It is very important. New methodologies, new techniques, new AI/ML logics, even the quantum computer will be used for cyber attacks in coming days. So you should be equally implementing cyber security in your organization, regardless of your size, location, and your revenue. That is what I would say. And you can always contact us for more information. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Follow our episode, and for if with the founder, you need to hear or start a practical survey conversation with your business this week, because that's what, because leadership titans, we just don't predict the future, we shape how leaders who decide it. So thank you for joining us, and thank you for being part of it, sir. Good day, and bye for now, sir.
Thank you.